World War II, the most destructive and deadliest war in human history. Millions of people from Germany-occupied territories were sent to Nazi concentration camps. Nazi camps had become a symbol of genocide, terror, and Holocaust. Nazi camp guards were known for their brutality and merciless. Dorothea Binz, Chief Wardress at Ravensbrück concentration camp. She was born on 16th March 1920 in Försterei-Dasterlake, Brandenburg, Weimar Republic, to a lower-middle-class family. She attended school that followed the Nazi curriculum, so teachers taught children about Aryan superiority and anti-Semitism from an early age. At 10, Binz and her friends joined the League of German Girls, the female wing of the Hitler Youth. She contracted tuberculosis, spent several months in hospital, so she dropped out of school at the age of 15. As a result, she could not finish school and could not find a proper job. She was stigmatized as a TB carrier, which prevented her from getting a job because employers feared she would endanger other workers with the disease. When the construction of a new prison began 5 kilometers from her village, Binz saw not only a promising job opportunity, but also an opportunity to serve the motherland. Her father had told her not to take the job, but she laughed at him. For her vision, the opportunity to live away from home, in a comfortable staff house, with good pay and with a smart uniform was too good to turn down. Binz was 19 years old when she volunteered for kitchen work at Ravensbrück in August 1939, but she disliked the job. So she applied at the local SS office to become a guard and was sent to Ravensbrück to train as a guard on 1 September 1939. Within a month, Binz was quickly promoted to the position of female overseer. Ravensbrück concentration camp was the largest concentration camp for women, designated exclusively for women in Germany from 1939 to 1945. Binz worked in various parts of the camp, including the kitchen and laundry. She served as a female overseer under Oberaufseherin im Zimmer Johanna Langefeld, Maria Mandl and Anna Klein. Though she served under high-ranking guards like Johanna Langefeld, Maria Mandl and Anna Klein, chief guards were completely overshadowed by Binz. She supervised the bunker, which was Ravensbrück's punishment block, where prisoners were tortured and killed. She began as deputy director of her penal block in September 1940 and became director of the cell block in the summer of 1942. Her abuse was later described as unyielding. Binz soon made an impression on her superiors for her brutality and quickly rose through the ranks to Deputy Chief Wardress in 1943. She was undoubtedly chosen for the role because of her unyielding abuse of the camp prisoners. Ravensbrück concentration camp was the main training facility for thousands of female Nazi camp guards. Ravensbrück served as a training camp for more than 4,000 female guards who served at Auschwitz and other Nazi concentration camps. She directed training and assigned duties to over 100 female guards at one time. She trained some of the most brutal female guards in the system, including Ruth Clausius. The infamous Irma Gries, nicknamed the Hyena of Auschwitz, began her career in Ravensbrück in 1942. At Ravensbrück, Binz is said to have beaten, slapped, kicked, shot, whipped, stomped, and abused prisoners continuously. Because of her cruelty, the camp prisoners learned to avoid her gaze. Witnesses testified that silence fell when she appeared at the roll call area. Everyone shuddered when Binz passed by. She was known to watch for the weakest or most fearful women, whom she would then shower with lashes or blows. She reportedly carried a whip in hand, along with a German shepherd, who would bite the prisoners on her orders. According to several prisoners, she had a boyfriend in the camp, an SS officer Edmund Breuning. The couple went on romantic walks around the camp to watch prisoners being flogged, after which they would stroll away laughing, kissing him, as the women were beaten and tortured. When a prisoner tried to commit suicide by running onto the electric fence, Binz stopped her. She dragged the skeletal woman away and beat her with a cane on her naked thighs. Of all the female prisoners, she hated Russians and lesbians the most. She was particularly harsh on Red Army prisoners, called them as Russian swine. One survivor described her as a sadist whose eyes shone when she beat people. After Russian troops advanced on Ravensbrück and prisoners were taken out of camp on the death march, the Nazis were worried that they would be accused of genocide, so they ordered the forced evacuation of camp prisoners. Thousands of prisoners were forced to walk long distances barefoot in the cold and snow, with little or no food, water, or rest, and were then loaded onto trains or boats. Thousands of them died of starvation and exhaustion. SS guards shot those who could not continue the march or who tried to escape. These evacuations were called Death March. Binz fled on her bicycle during the Death March. She was captured by British forces in Hamburg on 3 May 1945 and was sent to Recklinghausen, the former Buchenwald subcamp. In 1947, Binz was tried along with other SS personnel for war crimes by a British court at the Ravensbrück Trial in Hamburg. She was found guilty and sentenced to death. Hours after her death sentence was confirmed, she attempted suicide by slitting her wrists. However, the authorities intervened before she could have bled to death. Dorothea Binz was hanged at Hamelin prison by British executioner Albert Pierrepoint on 2 May 1947. Just before the hood was put over her head, her last words, "I hope you won't think that we were all evil people," she said as she took off her necklace and handed it to her executioner. She and the other hanged were buried in the Hamelin prison yard, then reburied in holy ground at Amweil Cemetery. The cemetery had graves with crosses, but after the visit of many neo-Nazis, on 5 March 1986, all iron crosses were removed and the cemetery is now a grass field. Our channel, The Past Quest. We only post videos about history. Subscribe the channel and support us. Thank you for watching.